Also, if anyone has any questions, as always, feel free to ask them. If anything is like interesting to you, feel free to ask. If you have any artwork that you have done and you wanted me to look at it, feel free to send it somehow, somewhere. So yeah, as a link. So everything should be fine, more or less. And yeah, this is pretty much all. Also, there is a Discord server if anyone would like to be in it. The link is also in the description down below, so feel free to actually just click on it and just add yourself. It's not a lot is happening in there, but some things is happening in there. If you have any questions whatsoever, or if you don't want to miss any streams or stuff like this, all the info usually is in there. So yeah, this is pretty much how it goes. And for this guy, the first thing that I wanted to do was to kind of like rework the gesture. I kind of felt it was a bit odd, kind of like too stiff in a sense. So I wanted kind of to make a sketch that will be slightly like cleaner in a sense, but also will allow me to make everything like flow a little bit better. So just wanted to play a bit more with the shapes and stuff like this. This won't be a big change, but it will be visible, I guess, at least slightly. So yeah. And also for this one, definitely later I will take some references from Taran Fiedler, because he is really good with like the anatomy of like buff creatures and everything. So I will try to search a bit for anything that he did that will most likely fit the topic, fit the theme of a troll, just to reference some of it a bit better. So I will have like a better visual clues on how I can solve some problems with anatomy and stuff like this. So yeah, the idea for this guy is that because he's like throwing stones and rocks and everything, for him to be a little bit more like ripped and chiseled, but still to maintain this like thickness in his body, because like lifting weights, lifting stones most likely will cause your core to be really strong. So I do believe he still will be like on the thick side, but slightly more ripped. And I wanted to make one arm, like non-dominant arm, slightly smaller, because again, if he is like mostly, for example, carrying all those stones with his like dominant hand, so let's say at this moment it's his left arm, then this arm will be like more developed. So it would make sense for him to actually have different size in his arms. So yeah. So this is the plan for today. I was also trying to search for some like references, for some better references for this character in terms of pose and everything, but I found nothing pretty much. So it will be a little bit more of like reinventing the wheel. So I will need to just think a bit more how I want to like pose him and everything. I kind of felt the hand gesture was a bit odd. I feel like this type of a gesture makes a little bit more sense to show like that he's kind of like balancing with all this. And also, as previously, I decided in this case to give him like 3 fingers, because he needs stronger fingers than more precise fingers. So like 3 should be enough to throw rocks and to throw stones and everything. So it should be all bueno for this fella. So yeah, and as always, legs will be the hardest part for me to draw, because legs are just hard to draw. So a constant reminder that I need to work on this like one certain topic, and yeah. And since this is also based on Heroes of Might and Magic 1, I kind of expect all this to be slightly more stylized, so I won't have a problem with even the anatomy being a little bit like on more of the stylized side. But in this case, most likely I will struggle with the anatomy, so I won't be able to stylize it how I want it. I will kind of most likely do it how it will turn out. So yeah, this leg could go more to the left like this. The entire leg will be slightly more rotated. So yeah, this is pretty much this. Giving myself some like reference points and everything. For the face I will stay with basically something extremely similar. I want him to have the small nose, the big nose from the original. Increasing the amount of details will like dictate how much I want to like keep it. But most likely it should be relatively similar to the initial sketch. Again, this is a creature that is not like extremely bright. It just is more or less just throwing stones and to break some bones. And the abdominal wall is usually really interesting to draw or paint, especially since not every single like ab muscle must be symmetrical. Usually the ab muscles are not really that symmetrical, so you can really play a lot with the designs of them, and they usually really nicely show the structure that you want to kind of achieve. So in this case I kind of want to go with this type of a shape, that he kind of has some of the belly in here, but not too much of a belly will be in here. And the pecs will be much more visible. I want the pecs to be kind of also on the thicker side. Hello Thomas, thanks a lot. Yeah, and for this guy the proportions are pretty much how I want them to be. Again, if there will be like any changes, it won't be really drastic. Maybe this area should be a bit more refined. But yeah, the setup for this leg is a little bit odd, on like the odd side for me. So yeah, and for the Taran Fiddler, let me show you his works. So I will turn everything off. And also why I want to reference him. Yeah, so here it is. Yeah, so basically dude is crazy. He's basically the same age as I am, but he is much more skilled, especially in the characters. So the thing that I really like about his characters is the fact that he really nails down usually the anatomy. It looks really like meaty and thick, and this is basically all he does, and he uploads everything like every single day, which is absolutely crazy. I have no idea how he does it, but he works like a machine. And yeah, in terms of anatomy, I guess he's like one of the best references that I have. And I really like the breakdowns that he does, because he usually posts a lot of like progress sketches and videos. He also has a YouTube channel and everything right at the moment. So yeah, definitely a guy that you should check up. And the cool thing is, like, as I said, his like muscle work and everything is absolutely perfect. So yeah, it's definitely a cool guy to follow, especially with stuff like this. So for example, for this leg, I will just take it and inspire myself, because yeah, this is pretty much what I need to do if I want the thing to look good. And also for the drawing quality, because he also has like a really nice line quality to everything that he does. I kind of want to emulate this type of a drawing because I just enjoy it. I enjoy how it looks. I really like how he accents some muscles, for example, the shape that he makes like in here with the tricep and the shoulder muscles and everything. So yeah, I feel he definitely is one of the best references out there. At some point, I guess I will ask him to be on Art Talk because I want to continue this series since it's a little bit dried up at the moment. So I have some guests scheduled actually for December, but yeah, still it will take some time for anything crazy to happen because everybody is now extremely like busy and everything. So yeah, but definitely he is like a character that I would love to talk to know a bit better because I do really admire his works. I feel they are really cool, and the way he does everything is very neat, especially on the legs. He really know how to draw legs. With the legs, he's extremely good with them. So even if you just compare the quality of the strokes and everything, it's absolutely another level. So definitely one of the most skilled guy. But yeah, it's always good to like have some artists that you admire to like follow what they do, because even it gives me like the small information. So for example, that I forgot that in here there should be like a line that this teardrop muscle is going like slightly lower, and on this side it goes slightly bigger. So yeah, and since my guy also will have the cloth in here, this is like a relatively good reference. So yeah. And here there will be like the elbow visible. So yeah. And the entire hand, the finger one. The second finger I want to kind of like wrap around. Also, even with the stuff, like with the simple stuff, like the hands, he really nicely draw the hands also usually. So yeah, he is just a really good example. And as I said, the amount of work that he does is absolutely spectacular. So it's just worth following him to motivate yourself. And yeah, for the design of this guy, this is like a thing also that you might have seen a lot of like body strongman does. When they lift stones, they tend to use some sort of a protection for their forearms. So they usually like put this sticky goo on them that basically allows them to grab the rocks, the stones better, in a better manner. But also they really often like rub their hands with some like material, or they wear like a special sleeves or whatever, so their forearms, hello boss GFX, so their forearms are not really getting like grinded with all the like harsh stone and everything. So yeah, so I think in this guy it would make sense to actually include details like this to the equation, so they will look slightly more believable. Yeah, and this is also like one of the things that I sometimes struggle with, is like how the chest and everything will like behave in space, because it's a really subtle thing with all the muscles and everything working. So yeah. And especially since not really I don't really draw the guys without any necks that often. So let me search if there actually is a really similar pose for the characters he did. And he also did like one of the things that I forgot again. Because okay, I get it, this like will be like so I get this leg will be like smaller because it's in the perspective, but the front leg should be much bigger because it's going a little bit more forward, and I feel the gesture to the side is a little bit too strong. So let me just remove this leg. Let me go with it more with like the geometry first. So it should go a little bit more like this. I don't know, let's maybe go back to the previous leg. Nah, let me remove it. It does not look okay. And with this type of a thing, you usually will see me to rotate a lot because it helps me to refresh the view on the character, so I do understand a bit better like what is going on actually with the geometry and everything. So I kind of want the leg to go like this, but now the thigh is too long. So it should go more like this. Yeah, but this is like obviously a thing that, as you can see, gives me a lot of problems. So usually it's really easy to see if someone is proficient in something by the like ease. I mean, this is kind of obvious that if you're like proficient in something that you will make it with much more ease, but it really quickly can show you how much someone is sketching, and he obviously is sketching much more. I will also write his name for anyone who is wondering. Taran Fiedler, I believe. Double D or double L? Yeah, double D. Okay. So yeah, this is basically it in terms of like the have I disconnected? Yeah, I have disconnected this area from a sketch, so since this bicep is like curled a bit, I can imagine it to like pop much more. And this one will like stretch a bit more because it's not flexed, it is more relaxed in this pose. And this finger should be more like this. And this basically will go kinda more like this. So yeah, a bone. But this definitely is a tricky one to pull off. And the anatomy is definitely a topic I need to really work much more on, because recently at work I have been struggling a lot with a really similar thing. So it's worth to just, I mean, not the similar thing in terms of a character, but generally with anatomy and gesture and everything. So it's definitely a topic that I really need to work on heavily. And also one of the things that I wanted like this guy to have is this more like visible shoulder muscles and everything, because I can imagine if you are like a huge astral that is basically like lifting stones all the time, it will be one of your like best skills, so you most likely will want to press it overhead to impress, I don't know, trollettes or other trolls. I have no idea how it will work, but the shoulders most likely will be like a dominant type, like part of a muscle in the body of a troll that mostly like just throws stuff. And also strong forearms, because like strong forearms will be a signature like type of a thing for a character that pushes a lot of the things. Okay. So also rendering this one will definitely be like an interesting challenge in terms of like the maintain the quality of a render. This goes like this, then this will go like kind of like this. The bolder shoulders. It's like 35 or something like this, 35 pixels. So, but the canvas I'm working on is 8000 for 4000, but I usually sketch with something along those lines. So I usually tend to start with thicker lines than to go with more delicate lines. I just feel it works better if I do it this way, because then if I do it this way, then I can't like start with all the details, because the brush is just too thick. So I need to focus more on like broader strokes, and I can't really focus on details that much. Okay. Having Taran reference on a side definitely helps. It gives me a bit more understanding on the things that I want to make. I don't know if successfully, but it does help quite a lot. So possibly the next time I will do any type of a monster, I will just surround myself with the references of the stuff that he does. So yeah, it should be helpful. Okay. And in this case, most likely I won't do like 10 versions of a concept for this guy, because I don't feel like there's a need for it. This one is pretty much straightforward, and I won't be like giving him like crazy amount of like different variations. Maybe I will just give him like a nose ring. I feel it will fit to this character. And also for the fingers, I was kind of thinking what type of a fingers he should have, like as a troll. And I kind of came to the conclusion that he should have something more like a claws, because if he is like digging in the ground, then most likely he needs like a sharp claws. So he will be able to like dig through the ground and just pick up all the stones. It will definitely make it easier for it. So you can just like sit for the entire day and just dig in the ground in search of cool rocks, of cool stones and everything. Which also makes sense in terms of like building a city. If you're willing to build a city, then you need a rock resource, and then if you have like an army of trolls that are basically obsessed with rocks, then it makes sense that it will like allow the city to develop a bit nicer. Yeah, this arm does not sit well for me. Feels a bit odd. I think it should go more like this. Wait, let me search for one thing. I will see if there is like a hammer. No. How to call it? Ball throw? Because usually the athletes, before like throwing the rock, when they are like pushing the rock, they tend to balance themselves with like the second arm. But yeah, I guess it will just take, oh, it will just take a bit more of experimenting on this sketch, because the rest of the body is relatively okay. I feel it looks relatively decent. And thanks for believing. I feel like he should be like trying to like balance himself. And the arm definitely needs to be shorter, so it does not feel out of place. So if I balance myself like this, then the elbow, because this is like one of the things that make a lot of things, is like around this angle. I just try naturally to like spread my fingers, so I believe it should go a little bit more like this if I were to try to like balance myself with it. And if the arm goes like this, then the bicep like directs slightly more upward. The bicep will be like in here, and maybe some tricep will even hang in here, and the lats and everything will go underneath it. This is a weird position. I'm not sure how no, this does not look right. Maybe I will just resign from him balancing. Maybe I will just like keep it simple. Maybe like one claw and the second claw, and the entire hand will be in here. Then it should go a little bit more like this. I feel it does make a little bit more sense, even with like a hand gesture. So, and it is a bit easier to process in my head on like how the shoulder muscle will look like. Then go something more like this, so it will like make this type of a shape. To the side, and then in here, because the collarbone here will go like this. The bicep and everything inside of it. Whoops. Where do I have it? Check some things. Okay. There's muscles in here. Forearms are also kind of tricky because there are like a lot of small muscles in there, like happening. So it's always like good to like be aware of the fact that there's like fuckload of things happening in there all the time. I mean, if you have like 3 fingers, then you have smaller amount of muscles in your forearm, obviously, because you have like less muscles to like make them attached to the fingers. But on the same hand, on the same side, you could have like the same amount of muscles, but just to connect the same muscles to like smaller amount of fingers, which will make the pulling force most likely greater and stronger, which is like a huge plus. So yeah. I also just now see I don't see a chat. Oh, okay, now I see the chat. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Also, one of the cool ideas that I have heard some artists do, especially like when they are designing something, is to actually start with like even the skeleton and just like place a meat on top of the character that you are drawing. So basically you are building it from the inside out, what allows you to really nicely control what is happening with the character. And also at the same time, later in the later like stages or of production, so for example you want to like give this character to someone to model it in 3D, then you have like more informations for them so they can like properly model the thing, especially since a lot of like people right now, I mean a lot of games right now are going more and more specific with and a little bit more detailed. So there, for example, like to have the real anatomy in a character, so you can like dismember it, or it will just look cooler in some animations when stuff like this will happen. So let me work on the hand. So there will be like basically a knuckle and a knuckle. One set of fingers. Basically like wrap around it. And the thumb. Oh. And this is a bit odd looking, but well. Sometimes when I'm drawing stuff like this, I feel like nothing is my specialization in art. Like it's usually that I'm lacking like the most like basic skills, like drawing hands or drawing legs or drawing whatever. It's like always like this. I kind of wonder if I want the face to like go this direction, for him to like look to the side, or to not maybe just go more like up front, go a little bit more frontal view. Let me check it. And again, there's something like flickering on the screen. I have not clue what it is. Like in the face up front, definitely is more like a Taran type of a posing, I would say. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, as long as it works. Kind of like the small, like, sad ears. And a fuckload of dreadlocks, because this guy in here has dreadlocks. Yeah, I think I prefer this setup for a face. It makes a bit more sense for me, and the nose can be slightly longer. And then the dreadlocks and everything. It also makes this part to be a little bit too long. Should go a little bit more to the side. The guy is Taran Fiddler. It should be a little bit more compact in this area. Do this, as I said, a machine. The amount of artworks he is uploading like every day is just crazy. Okay. I feel this sketch now is a bit better with this face, this head. I feel this finger should be more in here. Hello, me blurred. Should be like more in here. So yeah, I guess on a nose ring, I want to give him a nose ring. Maybe the legs could be a bit smaller. Yeah, I'm redesigning stuff from Heroes of Might and Magic 1 now, because currently I cannot do anything Diablo related. Because of reasons I basically also shouldn't talk about, but yeah. Long story short, I had to switch the projects. So I decided I will do Heroes of Might and Magic 1 because I also really like this game and I also really enjoy it. So here I am. Yeah, now when I look at it, it looks all wrong, especially on this area. Because I changed the position of an arm and the entire chest now looks incorrect. And this is a beauty of doing stuff. Yeah, usually, especially since I was like doing him in a different pose, like I had the arm oriented differently and the head oriented differently, and just rotating it did not help at all. I feel it works a bit better now. This hand could also be smaller, slightly. I don't like this like creepy position of a hand. I think it should, that I should remove it. And I feel this arm will be a bit more behind than the entire body. Usually when I'm drawing this type of a thing, I tend to like overextend and make the arms way too long, just for the sake of like showing them, so it is not necessarily a good habit. It's showing stuff for the sake of showing them. This arm definitely don't want to cooperate. The pose looks stupid. Kinda feel this, the leg placement for that. Hello. This everything does not make a lot of sense. Just the things have not changed. I tried to change the annotations to be like Heroes of Might and Magic theme, but it turns out the Streamlabs OBS don't give a flying fuck about like settings and just reuses whatever it pleases. So yeah, it should be different, but well, there is what it is. Slightly less dynamic pose, I would say. Slightly less interesting. But I think I will just roll with it. Just remove this guy. Kind of feel also now the character should look a little bit more to the left. Like the entire face should like go more like there. And I feel this is like a good call. The hunt will haunt me. Yeah, perfect. Oh my god, I absolutely don't like this sketch anymore at all. Okay, something like this makes sense. It definitely made him much more compact, but it starts to make sense now. Okay, maybe something like this. And a smaller head, slightly smaller. The guy in the original had relatively big head, so maybe I will leave it like this. I guess the hand in here should go more from the below. So actually while carrying this stone, we'll like grab it from more from the bottom and hold it more with like his bicep. Some sort of a stone or a rock, something like this. Because this guy mostly like throws stones and rocks, so my brain is not working today properly. Rock. Only big rock. Oh, I know. Okay. I might have found a good source of reference, but just let me search for a while for it. Find a good angle. Yeah, but this basically is like the thing that I should go with. So yeah, this guy needs to be like wider. This looks kind of odd, honestly. This motion does not look proper. Yeah, but what I was missing was like this wrap. The form would be more like this. Then the hand in here will like wrap around, like spread the fingers, and he'll like hold it like in here and here, like in here. Not with like this long ass finger. It does not seem to be like proper. It looks odd. I honestly hate this thing like flickering all the time around me. I also wonder why it's like flickering. It kind of looks like it wants to like display a navigator, because it's like displaying stuff from like behind it. It kind of like I managed to catch this transparency grid on it, but why is it happening? I have not the slightest clue. So something like this should work. Yes, stuff like this, and a bit heavier forearms. Then go to the tricep, and yeah. For this type of a guy, I can imagine him wearing some like stuff, like jewelry, but I guess in this case the dreadlocks will be like big enough, but I definitely want him to be a little bit more hairy. This is a type of a guy that will have like hair on his chest and on his like belly and everywhere pretty much. So this one will be a bit more hairy. Or painting him actually will be really hard because he is like purple and this definitely will be a challenge. Like render a purple skin monster. I guess I will need to take some references because this sketch now looks like a mess. But yeah, let's say it's at the moment on the level that I am okay with it. So I think I should just go for the another sketch, and later I will just go over every single character, like add a bit more details to them, because this one feels kind of odd still. Oh, hello, Silk One. Yeah, so these are the ideas. Yeah, the initial sketch was a little bit more dynamic, but also a little bit more. Where's the cursor? Right here, okay. A little bit more flat, but let me roll with this one at this point. So in here, this is the orange one. I have the ogre and the goblin. I forgot that I need to like rework the leg of a goblin. Forgot it should not go like a banana. Well, I mean, it could go like a banana a bit more. Something like this. I mean, it does not look that bad. Kind of more like this, like this, like this. Maybe not that massive of a calf. It's not a bodybuilder to have like massive calves. But yeah, something like this should do the trick. Yeah, and this is like also the stage where I want to have a base for them. Then I will like lower the opacity on all of them, and I will just like basically or I will maybe start painting them, or maybe I will just start rendering them. I will see. That depends on the way I want to start it. Also, if you have your lines are way too thick, you can do a trick where you can just connect those two guys with a background, and you can go with levels. So let me display capture. You can go with levels, so just open levels, and you can just increase the levels. So it will like remove some of the lines, some of the thinner lines, and it will make the sketch a little bit more delicate if you want it to be a little bit more delicate. If this is something that you need, especially if this is not a sketch that you want to work on, and then you can go to blend if gray, and you will just be left with something like this, and or you can just go to multiply and just multiply it. So this way, as you can see, well, if we compare the sketch thickness like one to another, this one is much more delicate. I will just, I guess, roll with it. It looks fine for me. The only problem is that it will like have a white background, but it does not matter if I'm still going to like trace over it later. So yeah. So we have like 3 sketches done, and now I will go with orange one. So let me just do the colorful arrows, so I will know what is done. So this dude is done. This dude is done. This dude is done. The wolf I will leave to the end because animals are just like the hardest one. I kind of want to make a cyclop. Yeah, let's make a cyclop. And the book that gathers the knowledge about all the cyclops is called Encyclopedia. This is a really dry joke, but it will be a shame to not say it. Yeah, so in here I guess I can just... I mean, I kinda like how the sketch looks like, but I need to increase the amount of details, so let me just remove it. Well, so this guy definitely... Where is the... Hello, Adam. So this guy definitely will be much more like chiseled, in a sense that all the striations should be visible. I don't know why, but I kind of feel... I mean, okay, I do know why I feel this way. Because this guy is like shooting the laser out of his eye, and I can imagine shooting a laser is pretty much really energy consuming type of an activity, especially if you do it like often. So I can imagine this guy like to be really like shredded, because he like uses a lot of energy that he like has on just utilizing the only skill that he basically have, like shooting the laser from the eye. So in this case I think it's easy to justify all the striations and everything like to be visible. And also since like his skin is brown, because it's like a cyclop from HoMM 1, it also will show all the striations a bit nicer, because the highlights will be just in a better contrast with the color of his skin. So yeah, also this is like one of the reasons why a lot of bodybuilders like tan themselves heavily before shows, because just on a darker skin all the details are much more visible, and there is less or basically no chance for the lamps to overexpose your body. So it basically like just makes everything look better, which is cool. So yeah, it's not the most shredded character, like the most mass, like volume heavy character out there, because I want to kind of keep the awkward like look on their faces, but it's definitely like a character that will have some muscles, even because of the reason that they are just like pretty huge, so they need to like carry a lot of like stuff, and all this carrying will just basically make them build the muscles. And again, I kind of want to make them look like stupid, so even in the hand gesture I kind of want them to be like awkward as hell. We'll just look at them and you will be like, okay, these guys are not the brightest, so maybe it will be a bit easier to like trick them, or to just, I don't know, go past them or whatever. But also about who and how guards a city, we will be discussing a bit more in the moment when I will be actually doing the entire city. And now I'm kind of like planning how to do it, how to approach it, and like gathering the resources on, yeah, basically on some tutorials to like prepare myself a bit better, because I want to do a lot of the city in 3D, just to make like a really solid 3D base for myself, which will basically make the entire thing light years easier, because I will have like a solid 3D base to paint over, and this is like pretty much always a good thing to have. Something like this. For the armor again, in the original he's wearing like a chain armor, chainmail, like a tight chainmail. In this case I kind of want to keep it, but I like the idea of the chainmail to be a bit like torn apart, like in some places. So maybe the character of this creature like is really stubborn, so they, once you give them their armor, maybe they are just like not really willing to put a lot of effort to preserve it. and if it like breaks or gets destroyed, they don't really care because they like don't understand the concept of the armor like getting destroyed. So maybe they just refuse to wear a new one. I think it's a relatively neat idea for the Cyclops to have. Especially since also in the original they are basically wearing pants. So I want him to like actually have pants. So yeah, but the pants might be like connected or stripped to the chainmail actually. It would make a lot of sense. Or maybe not. But I want some like loose elements of a chainmail to be like present here and there. Okay. Actually rendering them like in a sense of like drawing them will be a nice exercise to like train the line weights and everything. Now I'm kinda like repeating all the shapes that I already have, just for the sake of making the sketch more likely to be a bit more similar in style, so it will later make everything much easier to like render. And again, as I mentioned in the previous stream, the leg protection most likely is just like a lot of stuff cobbled together and just like wrapped tight around with like a rope or whatever, or and that they have like a solid like plate armor boots, because again no one wants like a Cyclops that basically enrages himself by like kicking something just that causes him pain. So they basically, like the one who like owns them, they made sure that it does not like kick the leg, like his tibia or whatever, by accident, so he won't kill anyone in anger or in pain while he is not controlling like himself, which is, I believe, kinda like neat small detail for them, or small justification for the legs being like really heavily covered with like everything. I feel that it does make a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Also, recently I have been watching some videos about the like movability of some medieval armors, and I was kind of surprised. Like I knew you can move a lot in medieval armor, and that they are like pretty. They don't really restrict the movement that much, but I was surprised how much you can actually move, and especially with the fact that, for example, the armor piece on the legs is so flexible. You can just basically bend it to the sides, because it's like all those small shells coming on top of each other, so it slides really easily. Definitely a cool thing to know, that you can more or less do like backflips and front flips in armor if you like have a strength to do it, and you can like roll without many problems whatsoever. So it also adds a layer of believability to the entire Dark Souls series, because basically rolling is like 90% of that game. And a bit of an ass will be visible from this angle, so it will be like a small touch, but later it will make a significant difference. Yeah, and on the leg I can imagine this guy to also not have like too many muscles visible. It will be a lot of texture just happening. They could also wear some sort of a crest on their chests that will kind of show to what tribe they do belong. But definitely a thing that I want to include to give them is some like bone type of things, some like jewelry made out of bones. I always imagine like dump monsters to like trade with, to like really like those type of things. So if you are like a huge cyclop, you still will have some sort of a feel of an aesthetics and everything. So most likely those type of guys like find something beautiful. And I always like to imagine that they like the bony type of things with like touches of like gold or whatever, where like a lot of it just cobbled together into a necklace or like a bracelet made out of like bones, or just like something that they found. So like you are a really powerful creature, but you are also stupid, but you want to look nice, so you just like wear pretty much everything that you find interesting. This will make them look really like, if we could like run a simulation like this would make them look really interesting after like, I don't know, a year on a battlefield. They will just like surround themselves with all the shit that they have on them. Okay. Yeah, with the face and everything, I feel that this is pretty much spot on what I wanted to achieve. So I guess I will also say that this guy is ready to go, to later be adapted. Hello, Mikołaj. To the next characters. So I'm pretty much redoing what I had already done previously. Yeah, but the drawing part will be fun. I kind of dig how he looks like. This muscle should go a bit more like this, and this a bit longer. On the side it will go more like this, so there will be like some ass muscles from the side, so I'm looking correctly, and flexors, I believe, here should go more like this. And maybe he shouldn't like place the entire arm on top of his like crotch. Yeah, raising the arm a bit higher is a bit better place for it. So the just like covers the area that is not interesting at all, and it kind of like makes the movement a bit more awkward, which is what I wanted to achieve. Okay, and also he can have like patches of some like leather and stuff, and of course like fur covering his body, so he will have like some hairy arms and maybe even legs, because why not? Or maybe even some hair on the head. It will look interesting. He's not that bald of a guy. And also even some like, I don't know, scars on the legs, because it would make sense that people who are like fighting it will mainly like damage his legs, because he is so tall. So having some cuts here and there is definitely a nice way to go to add this layer of believability. And the hamstrings from this side, I believe there will be like slightly visible, so it will get slightly more rounded. But yeah, other than that, this case is relatively okay-ish. Okay, so maybe we will also decide on the orc today, and I will start just drawing, and I will leave the wolf for the absolute end, because this is what heroes do. Just won't care about the wolf. Yeah, perfect selection. Thanks, Eric. I will make him bigger just to like resize the sketch. The drawing will be much easier. So for this one, is there any changes that I would like to make to him? Or to just slightly clean it up? Let me open the original. Like how does he look like? He looks extremely stupid. Oh my god. Yeah, all the colors will be wild. I have not a single clue how I will like manage the colors later. Need to open the window. Okay, so he does have a like string for the bolts. His back. Let me just decide on his face. More like the angry pig type of a thing. I do recently enjoy like doing this type of an eyes. It just looks funny for me, and they have like a lot of character to them. But in this case, I feel it's not the right way to go. I feel he should be more like squinting his eyes constantly type of a guy. With this like huge ass forehead. So he is not necessarily like angry all the times, what a lot of like people do with the orcs usually. Kinda want him to be more like, what? Do I really have to go there? Do I really have to shoot this? And a lot of like tiny teeth. Yes, there is this really cool muscle that goes from here, from like the cheekbone to the jaw. It adds like this diagonal type of a thing. The face, I do enjoy this muscle. I like it. Maybe slightly more angry in a way. For ear, because the ear is quite complicated on this guy. So, as you can see. Maybe actually a smaller jaw. Kinda looks like a dog or something like this. Have a hard time like placing him on how he does look for me. Kinda looks like some weird ass dog. Kinda want him to have like some short hair. But the ears definitely need to be huge. I want him to be like a scout, and if he must hear something, then he will hear every single thing. So the ears must be like a solid piece of equipment for him. It's a piercing, because again, it's a barbarian city, so they do care. He kind of looks like a bat, I think. What makes a lot of sense considering the fact that he is basically like scout type of a unit. And I want him to be more like a bat. I do like this idea. Okay, for the armor, let me go to my references. Or no, I won't go to my references. I have no idea what's in there. Wait, I was downloading some references for this project. Where are they? Landscape, references, human. Do I have some armors in here? Clothing, no. I don't know why, but it really fits to me. Like those guys are from like Mongolia or something like this. Mongolian armor. It just feels for me like a really like fitting place for barbarians and everything. I basically also just found pretty much identical armor to what he's wearing. Okay, so I do dig this one. This one is kind of cool, but a little bit too too fantasy-like. I do like this one a lot. Of course, the quality is shit, but I feel this armor is really nice. So I even feel like maybe covering his neck like the material in here. It's a cool idea. Also the other reference that I had like brief second ago was this one, of course, again in spectacular quality. This is even closer to what I had. Just move this guy. Yeah, so basically I will like definitely I want to give him this like shoulder armor. This piece of equipment, because he does have something similar. I wonder if the creators were actually also using some Mongolian type of things. I want it to be like doubled with all the like small details on it. It will be actually cool to talk with the creators of Heroes of Might and Magic 1. This game is old as fuck. And one of the things that I really enjoy is how to make the chat bigger. How when they explain how they like came up with different stuff, and usually it's like a clusterfuck of like a disaster, honestly, because the vast majority of the times, as I said, they never had like any professional artist on a team, and just someone who was like best just drawing stuff, was doing everything. And what is funny, those people managed to usually make the most iconic designs of all times. So I do believe this is also a topic that Feng Zhu was talking about when he was just starting his like journey with art and everything, that when he applied to a job, there even wasn't a position like concept artist. Kinda want to add him some fur in here too. I will add it. I will basically just give him the same outfit. Okay, we'll reveal the neck. Give him some sort of like crest in here to like tie everything together. I guess I will draw those things later when I like decide what I want to actually make him have. Something like this, I guess he would like hold it. Some like wrapping on a forearm would be like a common theme for those guys. Can imagine like a small cloth in here. Because for the trolls and everything, I don't really think a troll would like care that much about like clothing. Orcs usually are slightly more intelligent, let's say. So they are aware of the fact that they are basically like humans kinda, so I can imagine they won't like wear everything a bit nicer. And I kinda also imagine the orcs in a barbarian city can be like a dominant species, so they will have like some culture and details and everything, like the armors and shit like this, like available to them. I absolutely don't remember how do you hold the crossbow. Do I have this photo somewhere in here? The ref for the crossbow. No. Just search for crossbow. Yeah, good luck to me finding it now. No, so you basically like hold it. Kinda like a gun, it looks like. Yeah, I can hold it like a gun pretty much. Okay. Nah, I don't believe it. Okay. This I do believe. You hold it like you would hold it. This does make sense. Actually, one of the projects that I have been doing as first in my job was like something holding a crossbow. It was a really cool thing. Crossbows are cool. So again, wraps, because I don't want them to be like too heavily armored. Yeah. I like this like thick strip of a material. Like be around it. And we'll go like inside of him a bit, right? No. Why do I keep turning off my references? Crossbow bones. I find a good reference and I just turn it off and yeah. Oh, I basically got a perfect reference this time. Now, this is basically ideal. Okay. Couldn't be better. It's actually better than this one. Even like the angle even is identical. Only the head is like rotated. Okay, so it does not go in here. My crossbow will be slightly bigger. Yeah, just perhaps move to the side. HoMM. And I actually really dig the design of this crossbow. I don't feel anything more is like really needed. I like that this part most likely is just for the to hang the weapon onto something. It's a nice touch. Nice useful thing. This is also one of the things that I don't know how to feel about in some games when they like take a basic equipment like this and really make it over the top with like all the flashes and explosions and everything. I guess you can make it look cooler, but I don't know how to usually feel about those, like this overdoing stuff like this. Yeah, for a crossbow, I do believe this is enough. There's like some sort of a material in here, but I really like this wrapping in here on the front. It does give a lot of like nice clues, and this hole in here for the bolt. Oh, and also the lever, of course. This needs to be thicker, and the lever in here will be slightly visible. And this guy even is wearing a really similar pants to what I wanted to draw. So I can like even kind of get the reference for the pants and how the material folds and everything. And for the boots, I'm absolutely not convinced by this. I did the same thing, but yeah. But no, I won't do it. So I feel like wraps around his legs to keep this a little bit more Mongolian type of a vibe in here. And those type of shoes look really fun. Yeah, because also Mongolians basically live on plains. Mongolian shoes. Let me see if they look any like special. This actually looks like a really high level magical item. This really looks like a unique item. Okay. This is cool. This is really fucking cool. Yo, and they are wearing... Their fighters are wearing stuff like this. Oh. As you can see, this is neat. I like the shape of it. I mean, I do like all the decorations and everything, but I really like the bottom shape of the shoes. Like that it has this like stripe in here, and that it has this stripe on the side, that it has like this the stripe in here, like for the bottom part of it. And there's like some leather. And with like this reinforced back. I like it. I have not I was not expecting the shoes to look this cool. I would wear it like every single day. It looks comfy. Some like leather and shit, and yeah. Okay. So I guess the face is like okay. Okay, state. I kind of wonder how it will look like with. Absolutely not. But it's kind of fun. Some like beard and stuff. Definitely a thing to consider. Yeah, I guess this. Oh, okay, and the arrows. Yeah, of course. Bolts, not arrows. So how? Because this guy has them on like a string. So this guy would have them on a string, or he would just like mount them somehow to like his back magically, or do you want to go with like a really typical strip going through the middle? I guess the strip through the middle works pretty well, so I don't see a need to like change it, and just maybe like add some sort of a, like metal piece on top of it, like a circle, some like leathery stripe type of a thing. So it will basically connect to, it will go over or under the shoulder armor. I will just wear it over, I guess. But it would slide, I guess it will go under then. Like a cloth, stripe on it, then shoulder armors. Yeah, makes sense. Most likely I will. Like, it's easy to adjust, so should not be that big of a deal. Or maybe just like a cloth stripe. It will be even fancier. And some belt. How long? Oh, I looked at it last time. And the belt is just slightly shorter than. Okay. Okay. So the design of this guy is decided. Okay, now how tall he was? He was slightly bigger than this guy. Okay, so this is like the entire family of everything. And now let me adjust them together. So for the things that I definitely want to include, especially from the Mongolians that I had in here. Let me just move those two here. Is for the ogre. I kinda want him to have some sort of a like forearm with not only like stripes but with like more solid armor, kinda the studded type of a thing. I do find it like looking nice with some cloth in here and some like boom boom boom, just those type of a things. I do feel it looks nice. For the cloth that he's wearing in here, some like reinforced stuff, maybe some material that is like slightly reinforced. Okay, definitely more cloth on a belt, so the belt will actually be a little bit more interesting with a little bit more cloth on top of it. Also like some sort of like wrapping in here. And for the boots, I like the wraps, but I feel those guys could also get like this type, the similar thing that the orc got for his legs, but slightly like simpler version, but also with the studs, or maybe just on one leg. Yeah, it does make sense. Maybe the log should also have like those type of things. Nah, it will be a bit overdone. Come on, Control Z, you can do this. Okay. For the troll, for the equipment, not much. The things, cloth. I like the cloth. thicker cloth belt. So it won't look like a rug, but it will look slightly more like a piece of a cloth that actually makes sense. Okay, this is okay-ish. Do I want to give him some sort of a shoulder armor? Let me see. Maybe not in here, but maybe in here. So it won't be like that visible. It won't take a lot of attention, but some fur. It makes me to be a little less like true to the original source, but I don't really care that much at this point. I kind of want them to look cool. But I also feel like painting the shoulder is... Nah, for the troll. I like his shoulders. Some wraps on legs, in this case, will make sense. Did the original had trousers? Or am I imagining stuff? Oh yeah, he had green trousers. Okay. So I will give him like a bit of a torn trousers. But I want the cloth to also be in here. A small bulge. Thanks a lot, Sporin. It used to be nicer. It used to be long that I could like stick it to my ear basically. So like the longest was like this. But I cut it many years ago because it was extremely annoying. To the point where eating anything was a problem. But yeah. Maybe I will even find a photo of some. Wait. I will do it. I should have it somewhere. Some old photographs. Yeah, after like a fuckload of spam and everything. Oh, this will be an old one. The longest must... Yeah, this is the longest one I had. Whoops. But I also had a beard. So basically, if I would just like do it, I could like put it in my ear if I would like model it. And yeah. But I don't miss the beard. Shit was annoying on the longer. Like, it was cool to have, but it was annoying to a degree. But recently I have been planning to like regrow it maybe. But yeah, not sure about it. And this guy, his legs could have those armor pieces with the studs on them. But because he is like kinda on a dumber side, he keeps like ripping them off. So they're like... He gets only like, I don't know, destroyed parts that are like really worn off. So he stops, so he won't like use new material because he like constantly like rips them off or burns them off or whatever, or do stuff with it. There, I should be kind of smaller. Some fur around his like neck, because why not? He also could get like some straps and everything around his like arms. So like this one is the most civilized one. This is basically the leader of a civilization. Those guys will basically be like savages. But wait, Mongolian tribesman. Mongolian tribesman. Is there like... Maybe I won't make them like wear the material, like this hay type of a thing. Maybe I will also give them like some material. This is kind of like getting away from the source, but hmm. I kind of feel it will make it look a bit nicer. I kind of like the idea of like making the thing slightly different, because they have this like crazy ass hats with like a lot of fur on them, so maybe he will be just wearing this hat. This is a tough one. I will guess I will leave him the high thing, but I will add a cloth to him, so he will kind of be a little bit more uniform with the rest. And for the troll, what Mongolian hairstyles? Mongolian. Do they wear dreadlocks? I don't think so, but this is a nice reference. Oh, this is actually really cool. A bald head, like a bald, the top of a head. And some like longer strands and stuff. Yeah, so it basically won't be like a full-on dreadlocks, like standing together dreadlocks, but more like a dirty hair that are just like sticking together. I don't know why, but I feel like somehow removing the hair from the top part made the face look a little bit more feminine. I have no idea why I feel this way, but it definitely lost a bit of like this male feeling to it. Don't know why. Maybe those strands on the sides make it look more female. Huh, that's weird, at least for me. Something like this. Yeah, I do feel we have like a solid set of like weird ass characters in here. So yeah, I do enjoy them. I like how this guy evolved a bit with all this equipment around him. I feel this is like an upgrade for him visually. He will be a little bit more interesting. Yeah, so I guess on the next stream I will just start like rendering them. I will prepare some sort of a plate or base or whatever for me. Or I will just try to like eat as many tutorials of Talent Filler as possible. So I will try to emulate his style a bit better, because I feel like for those guys, his style like really fits nicely, and this guy will wear some coins and shit because trolls like coins. I don't know why, but they do. This one also could get some like tattoos, maybe some face paint. I could see them paint like some parts of their face or head or whatever. Yeah, so I guess for today this will be all. Not much of a progress has been done today, but mostly like redrawing stuff and slightly just increasing the amount of details. But I guess we at least figured out the troll. What is like, again, not a huge step forward, but definitely is a step forward. And yeah, so I guess thanks for watching. I'm kind of tired, so sorry for the lack of energy. If anyone is like willing to join to a Discord server, it's like in the description down below, and feel free to like subscribe, like, share video or whatever. And yeah, this will be all for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy. And just I noticed this guy is a little bit too long, so like this. I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, till the next time, and see ya.